This is going to be a bit of a ramble, so just buckle up and stick with me. Why do transitions feel so hard? Why is it that it seems everything within us is fighting against what we want? I've been thinking about this lately because I'm in the middle of my own transition. Last week, I spent all week looking for a house in the Atlanta area. Took off with my sister, and I felt this was going to happen. Now, I'm not saying I knew I was going to find the right house within a week, but I felt that I was going to make more movement, that I was going to make more progress with what was going to happen. That didn't happen. In fact, I had an amazing time. And my sister, who I live with now, she was like, I could take it or leave it. I'm not really feeling it. So I realized this whole journey that we were going to do together, was going to take a lot longer to happen. It's not going to happen right now. And I had to remind myself that when we're in a transition, sometimes it feels like, first of all, that we're taking a step back. It feels like everything is flat. Have you ever felt that things feel stuck? And when you're in a transition, do you ever feel stagnant? Things aren't moving as fast as you want. I think that's exactly how I felt. And I had to realize and think back about when I was in other transitions, how did I make it through? Because a transition isn't just about, okay, you want to move somewhere. Think about your own transition. Think about you've possibly wanted to move, into another job. You've wanted to leave a relationship. You're in a relationship that you're like, I'm just so ready to get out of that relationship. And sometimes when we are in one relationship that we want to leave, we imagine what would this other partner be like? How would my new partner be, treat me? And we kind of romanticize it a little bit. But in the end, and I'm not saying that you're going to achieve all these things that you've dreamed of, because I think actually dreaming of it and experiencing and thinking about what's going to happen really does help us move toward it. But we miss the opportunity while we are sort of in that middle state in transitioning. We miss all the beautiful things that are happening at the time. So how do we get through a transition? Well, first of all, I think even for myself right now, it's like gratitude. And I know that's going to sound cheesy, like, I got to be grateful. But yeah, the gratitude part means that I recognize there are so many things that are providing opportunities for me now that maybe I'm missing, because I got to be real. If I move to a new place, am I going to do the things, all these things that I could have done here going to magically appear? For example, I always think about, I'm going to join all the neighborhood groups. I'm really going to get involved with my community. I think about, okay, my relationships. I'm going to have more relationships, and I'm going to really nurture all my friends when I get there. And I have to admit, because I've lived in Atlanta before years ago, I did seem like I was more outgoing when I was there. But how is it that things going to automatically change? If I'm reclusive here right now, am I automatically going to just start doing those things when I move? I would say not necessarily. What's going to jumpstart me all of a sudden I'm going to be more giving and more affectionate and go out more. Where is all this money going to come from that, I'm going to have to do all these things? Not that they require money, but that's another thing. I think when we are in a transition, we say, okay, when I get this, when I have more money, I'm going to do all these things. But we have to realize that when we are in transition, there are a lot of internal things that are happening. And that's why I say express gratitude for all the things that you are learning now about yourself. And then before you get to your new location, your new job, your new partner, start thinking about all the things you need to do within for yourself right now. For example, I'm talking about this new house that I'm going to get. Am I taking care of all the house that I have now? It's spring and summer while I'm taping this. Am I touching up and doing all the painting stuff that I need to do? I dream of starting a garden. Can I get containers and do the gardening here now rather than moving to this new place that I have? You see what I mean? Like, there are things that I can do right now to express gratitude. Even, for example, say if it's a relationship. All the things that I said, if I was getting out of a relationship into a new relationship, what are the things that I need to do to express more love within my life now and to create gratitude and possibly a little acceptance of things that can improve my situation now. So I think that's one thing that we can do. Another thing is, when we have a goal that we are moving towards, come on now, we gotta remember we are moving toward that goal, no matter how much it seems that time has stood still. Because time isn't standing still. If you were to look back on just even a year ago, things are a little different. Even if it looks like, oh my gosh, I've gone through this or I've gone through that, there is still change that has happened. So a transition, things are still fluid. Things are still moving in a certain direction. Now you have to decide, is it moving in the direction that I want? And it might not be, but things are moving. Because that's when even you realize that when you reach that goal, you're still in a transition in terms of all the new things that you have to learn in this new location, in this new place, all these new things. So in essence, we're kind of always in a transition. The other thing I think that helps me, when I'm trying to move to a new goal, is to actually feel it, is to actually just put it, sort of create presence around it. Just because you seem sort of that you are far away from it, you can still create a sensory experience. And that's what I love to do. I love to close my eyes. And I think I've talked about this before. Create a sensory experience with your imagination. Just because you're in one location, and I think this is what will actually help you create the circumstances to sort of bring about what you want to happen. I imagine it. I close my eyes. I sense it. I smell it. I can smell. For example, if I purchase this new home, actually when I do purchase this new home or move to this new location, and first of all, words are very concrete. I think your thoughts and your words need to be concrete. But think about if I decide to paint, what is that paint going to smell like? What is it going to feel like just driving up to my new door all the time or every day? And I think about lying in my new yard. What is that going to be like? Just sort of reading. What does the sunlight feel like on my face? What does it feel like to be going to some of the places that I'm going to be hanging out in? Always create a sensory experience. That is important, because when you're sort of frustrated, you got to get out of that place of feeling like nothing's happening, or that, I feel so sorry for myself. Why is this happening? I can't believe it. You got to try to get yourself out of that. I'm not saying that you don't have those moments. Those are human moments. That is real. But one of the most powerful things you have is your imagination. So you've got to use it. I think that's what I always fall back on. And the other thing that I think I fall back on, that I know I fall back on, is when if it feels like nothing is moving in my life, I always have my physical movement, walking, dancing, creating some sort of movement. Not only does it lower the anxiety and the stress that you might have, but it creates, I think, a physical shakeup in your life. And also, it helps you problem solve. If you feel like, why can't I figure out what's going on or how to create change? The fastest way, I believe, and the best way is to create movement in your life. When you get stuck in a rut, that is, to me, because you don't feel like there's movement in your life. So always create that, and create it every day, because the wheels, like the mental wheels in your life will start changing and turning, and you'll be like, okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do that. And the other thing to transition is, I think, find a partner. Talk it out with a partner. They do have ideas. Now, sometimes I do talk to people and they give me ideas, and then I'm like, nope, that's not it. Nope. And a lot of times people will give you ideas and you'll be like, nope, I don't like that. But it helps you stand like 10 toes. It helps you like really stand firm on what you do believe in. And I think that's really important. I think it's really important to know, what do I believe? What is my core identity and my core value? Because when you transition, you really got to remember what your core values are. Because when you do that, you'll get what you want. It'll happen. You just got to really stand firm. So anyway, I hope that this helps you. And in your comments, if you're transitioning to something, tell me what you're transitioning toward. And what do you believe? Are we always transitioning, or is transitioning just a temporary period of time? So I hope this helps. And if you like this video, press like. And also, if you're new here, subscribe. And I am Cassandra Finch. Oh, let me introduce myself. I'm Cassandra Finch, and I am a holistic health coach. And I hope this helped you in some way. And I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.